What if I told you that your intelligence, your connections, your money have nothing to do with living the life that you actually want? What if the real reason why you're stuck has nothing to do with the economy or even your background? Truth is that there's an invisible force holding, trapping millions of young, talented people all over the world into lives that they deeply hate. The good news is that once you understand what this force is, everything changes. Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about a topic that I haven't seen anyone else talk about, or at least talk about properly. We're going to dive into what I call the courage crisis, and why it's actually the hidden reason behind why most people live lives that they don't really like that much. First, let's be real for a moment. Look around you, not in your room, but the people that you know, people closest to you. How many of them are working jobs that they don't really like, are pursuing a university degree that they're not really passionate for, are settled in a relationship, not satisfied with, but just settled for, or maybe have a talent that's really beautiful, but they haven't really developed in any meaningful way. But here's why this is quite interesting. Once you ask them why they've done the things that they've done, they actually give you quite reasonable excuses. They say, I need a steady paycheck, or it's not the right time, I have responsibilities, what if it doesn't work out? But truly, here's what's actually happening. And the best way to explain this is to give a story from my personal life, because that's where I most deeply felt the core of the problem. I felt the lack of courage in my own heart. I was 18 or 19, I had just graduated high school, and now was the time to actually live in the real world. I really wanted to do a couple of things. I was into content creation or fitness coaching, maybe even martial arts. I was really interested in those things, but I was not sure. I did not have the courage to pursue them. And society, my parents, those people that I had surrounded myself with, all told me the same thing. Go to university, get a degree, that's the safe path. And those are the killer words. Safe path. So I took it. I was born and raised in Bulgaria, I've lived here all my life, and now I traveled to the Netherlands. I journeyed across Europe to go to that country to pursue a degree in engineering. The first year passed miserably. Every single day I wanted to cry. I woke up with misery in my heart and I went to bed with regret. I was not satisfied. I passed the exams, I did the assignments, I went to the lectures. I was doing fine. I was on track to getting that degree, but I had regret in my heart. There was pain in my chest that just really wouldn't go away. That continued for one more year. 2 years had passed and I was becoming numb to that pain. And that feeling of becoming numb to your own dissatisfaction scared me. So I spent a ton of hours researching, reading, introspecting, journaling and testing to see what the fuck was wrong with me. Then I finally found it. I had a set of principles. A set of principles that I strongly believed in. Freedom. Freedom of expression. Freedom of doing what you want. Self-authority. Having the authority over your own life. Sovereignty even. I believed strongly in those things, yet I was turning my back on them each and every single day by doing what I did not want to do. I was living a life that I didn't choose myself, but was chosen from me by other people. And I knew that I had to make a choice right then and there. Continue on to that path because it's safe, and it actually is safe. Or take the risk. So I did a calculation in my head. What would happen if I continued on to the safe path? I would have gotten that degree. I will get a safe job, working at a large company as just another employee. I would be making a reasonable paycheck. I would be living a comfortable life. But I would have regret and hatred in my heart for myself for being scared and weak and not taking the risk, and for all the other people that made me choose that path. So they didn't benefit because I would secretly be hating them, and I wouldn't benefit either because I wouldn't have been happy on that path. Or I could take the risk I could take the journey and travel and be on an adventure and do the things that I truly wanted to do. I could fail. Most likely I would fail, but so what? It's what I chose. It's what I wanted to do, and I tried doing it. I didn't succeed, but at least it was fun. It was a memorable experience, and I think, or I thought, that would have been preferable. So that's what I chose. I knew I needed money, so I started applying for jobs. I applied for any and every job with full confidence that I would be great at it. I didn't have any work experience, I didn't have a degree, I just sent I literally sent hundreds, maybe even thousands of motivational letters to companies explaining that no, I don't have a degree, no, I don't have work experience, just give me a project, I'll do it in 1 or 2 weeks for free for you to prove my worth. Luckily, maybe it wasn't luck, maybe it was the fact that I sent thousands of emails, but one company replied. They gave me a chance, they gave me a task that I had no idea how to do, but I did some research, I got connected to the right people that were good at that thing, and I did it. I did that task successfully and they hired me, and I'm still working with them. I have freedom of location because it's remote work. I do work that I actually enjoy, and that's really fun for me, and that's really interesting and mentally challenging. I'm helping people by doing it, and I'm making good money. And if I hadn't taken that chance of looking for a cool, interesting job that I thought would be fun and would be interesting without even being prepared for it, right now I'll still be in the Netherlands, in the university, listening to some dumb lecture about I don't even care what at this point. But here's the real lesson. I didn't lack opportunity. I lacked the courage to find that opportunity and take it with my bare hands. And here is why this matters now more than ever. We're living in the most opportunity-rich time ever in history than there has ever been. It's never been easier to start a business. It's never been easier to be an entrepreneur. It's never been easier to learn a skill set online. It's never been easier to reach any audience. And yet, we have a peak of depression rates, of suicide rates, of life dissatisfaction rates. And here is why. Because opportunity, without the courage to take it, becomes spectatorship. And that's what most people do. But through my research and personal experience, I've created a framework that I call the Courage Catalyst. And it's a step-by-step system to help you overcome any fear that you have in your life, develop courage, and take each and every opportunity that is presented in front of you. It's a system to getting the life that you truly want. The first step is fear reframing. Most fears we have are irrational. They don't make any sense in today's day and age, but they did thousands of years ago. Most fears that we have evolved in our DNA and in our blood in prehistoric times. Here's an example. A woman loves writing. She loves reading and dreams of creating her own book one day. But she never does, because what if people don't like it? You maybe know someone like that. Maybe you are like that. But take a deep dive into this fear. What if don't people like it? So what? Nothing will happen, realistically speaking. But that fear is extremely strong, because in prehistoric times, we lived in tribes. And back then, if the tribe didn't like you, you would get kicked out, you would get exiled out of the tribe and into the wilderness. And that would be deadly, because in the wilderness, wild animals would literally eat you alive. So that was extremely dangerous. So being liked by the tribe, or at least not being disliked, was extremely, extremely valuable to your survival. But in today's day and age, even if you do the most provocative thing there is and you get disliked by thousands of people, nobody will exile you into the wilderness where you would literally physically die. The worst case scenario is getting a 1-star review on Amazon on your product, or getting a hate comment under your post. So what? You may sometimes, really, I strongly doubt this, but the worst case scenario is that you get laughed at in public. Nobody will physically hurt you. Nobody will take the money from your bank account because you wrote a bad book. None of that will happen, yet that fear is strong. But here's how you can reframe it. You can take a look at the worst case scenario, practically speaking, and the best case scenario. Let's say you write that book, or that woman writer writes that book. The best case scenario is that she becomes world famous, she travels the world signing the copies of her book, she makes books based writing on things that she is passionate about, and she makes a ton of money from it. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, she gets 5, 0 or 1 star reviews on Amazon, or maybe none. Maybe just people don't see her book and nobody reads it. So what? She's wasted 100 hours writing it, or maybe a couple hundred hours writing it. She would have wasted that time and that energy anyway, just thinking about writing that book. But here's the kicker. Most people are afraid that once they do a passion project, that nobody will see it, that they will waste their time doing it. But you will waste your time and your energy, your mental and emotional energy, anyway, just thinking about doing that product, imagining what it would be like, daydreaming about it. You would waste that time and energy anyways, so you might as well just do it. And here's the secret: if you actually try your best and you actually do it, that time won't be wasted. Even if people don't see it, it will be a pleasurable memory for you. You would get better at it. It will be added experience to your skill set. So the next time that you decide to do it, you will do it better, because you would learn from the mistakes that you made the first time. And once you repeat that process 5 times, 10 times, 50 times, 100 times, yes, it's gonna suck doing that over and over again, but you incrementally improve. And in the end, you'll get to your desired result. And that's just realistic. That's not the best case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. So in the worst case scenario, with enough time and persistence, you would reach your best case scenario. So your fear is absolutely unjustified. And once you realize that, you need to start taking action. Because reframing your fear is nothing without taking action. But how do you actually take action in the first place? That's where you need courage. And here's what I call courage conditioning. You do small actions of courage each and every single day aimed towards your fear. That has been psychologically proven to not decrease your fear, but increase your courage, increase your resistance to that fear. And I'll give you an example of my personal life. I had arachnophobia. I had an irrational fear towards spiders. I hated them. I got goosebumps every time I saw one. I just froze, and I was disgusted and terrified out of them. So what did I do? I started conditioning my courage towards them. First, I'll just look at them, just from a few meters or a few steps away. I'll just observe them. Then I will take a step towards them. I won't touch them. I won't try to take them or kill them. I'll just make a step towards them. Slowly, over enough time, each time I saw a spider, I made sure to touch it with my bare finger in order to expose myself to that fear. It sucked the first time, it was not pleasurable the second time. By the 5th time, I did not care that much. I was still disgusted with the spider. I still don't like it, but I knew that the previous 5 times that I touched it, nothing happened. So the 6th time I know nothing will happen. And now I can, when I see a spider, I just take it and I squash it easily with some toilet paper or whatever else I have handy. And I'm fine with touching them. I'm fine with them like being around me. I'm not fine with them being around me. I still like kill them or I throw them out of the house. But now I at least don't get that scared. That's just with like the spiders example. It could be talking to girls, it could be public speaking, it could be writing, it could be creating content. Whatever else it is for you, that's the second step. Take small incremental actions towards your fear. That's courage conditioning. Third one is strategic rebellion. We live in a society of unwritten rules, and that's just people's expectations. These people's expectations and their standards come from their own lives and their own ambitions. So if you're too overly ambitious and if you try to do too much, other people will try to put you down. There are rules that are unwritten in society, in our society, that you can break, but you have to break them strategically. So I recommend reading the 48 Rules of Power on this one. It's full of examples You can't be too competent on something. You can't appear to be too competent. You can't appear to be too ambitious. Otherwise, other people will try to put you down very quickly. And in the beginning, having that negative force working towards you of jealous or of other people that are trying to put you down could be detrimental, because in the beginning, you need all the support that you can get, and you need the very least of negative resistance. And if you start breaking too many of society's rules, you'll get too much pushback and it won't work out for you. So you need to be strategic in your rebellion. Here's how you can start developing your courage today. Take 10 minutes tonight. Write down every practical decision you've made in the last year. All the big ones. Ask yourself, was this decision driven by courage or by fear? You may be shocked to see the end result and how many of your decisions have actually been driven by fear instead of courage. But you need that introspection. You need to find the problem in yourself where that fear is coming from. You need to first realize that it's there, and this will help you detect it. Second thing you can do is a micro courage challenge. So that's what we talked about. Take tiny acts of courage. Build up your courage muscles, so to speak. Third one is very important. It's called the permission audit. We've been conditioned to ask for permission for everything in our lives. From going to the bathroom when we were in high school, to taking a day off when we're working at a corporate level job. So here's what you do. You identify when and where you're asking for permission. Question if that authority is real. For example, asking for permission from your partner to wear something or to go somewhere. Is that authority real? Do they actually have the means of stopping you from doing what you actually want? Or is it just fear? Are you asking for permission from society to do the things that you want? From all silent observers on the street? And is the authority actually real? Every time you're thinking about asking for permission, or thinking if you already have that permission, ask yourself, does the entity that I seek permission from actually have the authority to grant it or to deny it? Now, I've barely scratched the surface here in this video. If you actually want to get access to the whole Courage Catalyst framework, you can like and you can subscribe and you can comment on this video down below. I'll leave a link to my Instagram in the description where you can go and you can message me or you can DM me with the word courage, and I will send you the full Courage Catalyst framework. If there's enough interest in this, I will make a whole course, I will make a whole book about it if necessary. We need more. The reason I'm doing this whole thing is because we need more courage in society. We need more brave men and girls and women as well. Just more brave people. Because when people lack courage, they become cowards, and cowards are bitter and resentful, and that impacts the whole society for the worse in the end. Yes, it's easier when you have courage and everyone else around you is fearful to reach your goals and to reach your destination because you have a competitive advantage over other people. But it also sucks because you live in a society of cowards, and that sucks because cowards are backstabbing and they try to pull you down to their level. That's why I made this video. I hope this video has encouraged you to be braver, to have more courage in your life, to take more opportunities when they are presented for you, and don't ask for permission. Once again, Instagram in the description. Go there, DM me, I'll send you the whole thing. Thanks, bye.